Hi guys, welcome to Hoops Junction. Vladimir here, and today we're talking about the NBA and teams resting players. It is very crazy that automatically that it's not even halfway through the season and teams are already resting their players. LeBron already rested 2 times this season. He rested once against the Indiana Pacers, and he didn't even travel to see the Memphis Grizzlies. And a lot of fans are upset about that. Allen Iverson came on the record and said he would have a big problem if his coaches were trying to rest him. And a lot of the old guard feel that way because if you think about it, Michael Jordan, he played all of his games. If he was healthy, he was playing because he understood, which Isaiah Thomas once said, the showmanship, the showpiece of the whole equation. See, when we watch basketball, we don't just watch it because we love the sport. We love the sport, but we also watch it because we want to be entertained. And one of our star players are sitting out due to rest, and they're not even pushing 35, 36 years old, but they're resting. It doesn't make any sense. Now, I understand, down the season, like after 40, 50 games, a player might take a game off or they might restrict his minutes, but it's not even halfway through the season, and LeBron James has rested twice. And I'm pretty sure he's going to rest a whole bunch of other times throughout the season. That doesn't make any sense. Now, some people are saying, well, he's doing this because he's waiting for the postseason. But like Stephen A. Smith said, we don't just pay you for the postseason or for the NBA Finals. We pay you for the regular season. It's like, why watch the regular season if most of these players are going to play most of their games? And I've said this before where they should have some kind of system where they provide for sick time or time off or whatever the case is. And this is something that they need to address in the new CBA deal, where if it's not halfway through the season and it's not injury, they need to put in a clause where you can't rest your players unless it's like halfway through the season or, more than 50 games, or you can't rest your players unless, you have 2 games to rest players and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Unless there's injury. Like, Popovich used to do this, and everybody, calls Popovich the grandfather of this. He would rest players certain key games. Like, a couple of years ago, he rested Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Manu against the Miami Heat because they had, a division game the next night. And basically, Pop was doing psychological warfare because that game, if you guys remember, the Spurs almost beat the Heat with LeBron, with Wade, with Bosh. And all the fans were upset and saying, how could you rest players and stuff like that? But the thing was, at that point, they were already halfway through the season. And if you think about it, Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan were, I want to say they were 36, 35, 36 years old. So we could understand the rest for a 35, 36-year-old. And Tim Duncan at the time, he was the best fundamental power forward in the game, but he wasn't the preeminent star. He was a star in the league. Don't get me wrong. He's a legend, living legend. He's a star to me, but he's not like a big star where, as opposed to let's just say a LeBron James, in his prime, people go to see him. You need to rest him. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense for stars in their prime to be resting unless it's the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's the end of the season, and what you could do is blatantly say, not blatantly say, but you make up an injury. That's what Popovich said. He said Manu was battling a sore knee. Tim Duncan had a bad back. You can say something like that, but when you're blatantly resting your players and you don't have no cause for it, there's no nagging injury, there's no nothing, it's disrespectful. And it's think about all those fans that spend their money to go to a game. And, let's just say they bought the tickets in early January or the year before or during the summer. They're like, I can't wait to see LeBron come to Memphis and play. I spent my money. I got my tickets. I'm going to get the freshest outfit. Think about this. Not only does the person spend their money, they invest their time and their resources. They're saying okay, I'm getting ready. I'm going to have my jersey on. I'm going to make a sign. I'm going to take pictures. Because some people, this is an event, because some people can't afford to go to a game all the time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's economic means aren't the same. So they make a big night of this, and they have to travel. Some people have to take a train. If you're going to watch the Knicks, you're not going to drive there. You're going to take the train. Same thing with the Nets. You're going to take the train. So you're doing all this work to go see a player, and then he doesn't show up. because he's just resting, and it's not even halfway through the season. Like it's really a slap in the face to fans, and this is not just like a LeBron thing. Like I think most recently, a lot of young guys are resting for no reason. Like there's like no reason for it. The other day I saw Paul George. He hadn't played like 3 or 4 games. Carmelo Anthony, they rested him against the Warriors, which didn't make any sense. If anything, they should have rested him against the Suns or another team, but you rest him against the Warriors. So think about this. In Oakland, there's a bunch of New York Knicks fans. Like everywhere you go in the United States, there are New York Knicks fans who like Carmelo Anthony. So for him to rest like out of nowhere like that, it's just corny. It's like you're not even halfway through the season. That's what bothers me. You're not even halfway through the season and already guys are resting. And my alternative to this is either, like I just said, the CBA deal where they need to like give them a specific amount of subs or rest for the season, or another thing which is obvious: if you want to give your players rest, why don't you cancel a practice? Why don't you limit their time? Like for example, like if you don't want to rest the player, let's just say they've already taken a bunch of rest, and you want to limit their minutes, just make them play the first and second. Make them play the first half. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you could make them play 24 minutes. Like limit their minutes that night, because at the end of the day, like it's not like it's a it's not like they're getting paid like $16 an hour, $20 an hour. These guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars per game, and people want to see them play. Like, I feel bad for the kid like that. LeBron James is their favorite player. They spent the money on the tickets, and now they got to tell their dad has to tell them, well, he's not playing tonight. It's like it's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face. At least do something where he could play like 10 minutes, 12 minutes. He could play half a quarter, whatever the case is. Just let him play something, you know. Maybe if you want to give him more rest, cancel a shoot around, or cancel like a meeting or something. There's other ways to give players rest. I just feel like people are taking what Popovich did. Popovich did it tactfully. It wasn't in your face with it. He wasn't saying, "Hey, I'm resting my players." It wasn't nothing like that. It was always, hey, these guys don't feel good. He got an ankle injury. This one, it was always like a reason. It wasn't just like, oh, it's rest. And like a lot of people are saying, well, this is being hypocritical because just because it's LeBron, it has nothing to do with LeBron, because like what I'm saying is it has to do with Paul George, Melo. Like we're not halfway through the season. I think teams have played like 26, 27 games. That's it. That's it. And I know the schedule is brutal. Of course it's brutal, but that's where other things come into play. Cancel a practice. Cancel a shoot around. Cancel a meeting. There's other things that you could cancel, because when you have the game and the preeminent stars aren't taking the regular season seriously, that makes fans don't take it seriously. Because a lot of fans that I know, they think the regular season is a joke. Like they feel like already they could predict the future. They feel like, okay, Cleveland's going to be in the finals, Warriors going to be in the finals, or back in the day, Miami's going to be in the finals. So you're making it more of a joke, and you're giving fans a reason not to watch, which will plummet the ratings, which will mess with your money. And think about this, like NBA is a sport where, they promote the players. So if these players are resting in markets, especially like small markets or key markets, whatever the case is, you're hurting. You're hurting the brand. You're hurting your brand. And the NBA they need to do something about to fix this. Because honestly speaking, if I spent my money to go see a game, and I know, like, let's just say I wanted to see the Warriors play, I know like Steph, Durant, and whatever is not playing, like I'm gonna be like, well, F it, I'm not going. I'm gonna sell my tickets or whatever the case is. I'm gonna take the loss. Cause why would I waste my money and not even go see the best of the best play? And like that's kind of where we're at right now in the NBA, where these guys are 25, 23, 31 years old and talking about they need to be resting up. Resting up for what? Like the playoffs ain't even here yet. You could get injured just by doing anything. You get injured just by walking outside, shoveling snow. You could pull your back. There's a lot of things that can happen to you. So to think like resting this game is gonna save you for I don't know what. Maybe they have a divisional game that he wants to get ready for. But at the same time, be tactful about it. It's only 26 games and teams already resting. It's sad. It's sad. And like Like, think about this. Like, Jordan played majority of his games. Kobe played majority of his games, you know. Unless when Kobe was getting older, of course, he couldn't play the rest of the games because, you know, he was recovering from Achilles. He had other nagging injuries. His finger is still broken. I think he just fixed it after he retired. His finger is pointing this way. So, at the end of the day, like, there are some good, valid reasons for rest. But when you're just resting players, just be resting them because they don't feel rejuvenated through the season because of the back-to-backs. That's corny. That's corny. You could limit the minutes. You could shorten the practices. You could do other things to benefit players. So that's my take on it. You know, it is getting a bit disgraceful, and I'm really getting tired of it, especially when the best players are doing it. If the best players are doing it, what makes you think the suckiest guy, the bench players, won't do it? You know, oh, I'm taking a night off. Hey, I'm doing it. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. You're here to put on the show. You get paid handsomely, so put on the show. That's that. This is Vlad from Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Peace.